Like, ladies and gentlemen, slides and dimes, my hip-hop crimies and crimettes, welcome back to the couch. If you know, you know. If you don't, hit that button below. It's your man Bito here with another reaction. And this one's a little bit different from all my other reactions. I normally don't do this one often, but because the music video of Squabble Up just came out, I see people are putting out the Easter eggs that you might have missed and stuff like that. So this person here is the College of Free Thought. He did a What You Missed in Kendrick Lamar Squabble Up video. It's a quick little 20 minutes. I know when I did the video, I definitely didn't catch everything. There were some things I've seen, but I also summarized it as a lot of that video is most likely a lot of stuff that is Cali reference, West Coast reference, neighborhood reference. Like, I did peep the cultural stuff, like, you know, like I've said throughout the album, like, because the album I didn't need a music video for that to be explained, but he's attacking pretty much through this album, and what he's depicting in the video is you know, culture, you know, California culture, hip-hop culture, the Latino culture within California, Compton, whatever. I want to say all of California at this point. Gang culture between the B's and the C's. What else is in there? 90s references from stuff that, you know, anybody his age and under, or maybe even over, honestly, have like grown up on. So like it's a lot of callbacks and homage to that. But once again, Kendrick is very detailed in what he wants to put out there as far as like what we should decode, and being somebody who's new into like keeping up with Kendrick. Like, now at this point I'm keeping up with Kendrick. Before I listened and tuned in every now and then, but I'm keeping up. So for someone that's keeping up, this will be very helpful for me, especially for somebody who's like, damn, I don't know everything about him to like assume or be like, this is what it is. Like, stuff like this is something I would do for like Eminem, you know what I'm saying, or 50 Cent even, you know what I mean? Like, those are like my main dudes that I like, not obsess over, but like you could say I know a lot about them. So we're gonna hop right into him. Shout out to College of Free Thought. I hope he ain't mad that I'm reacting to this, because once again, I've never done this type of thing before. So don't forget to comment, subscribe, you know, let them know I use it or something like that. You know, I'm gonna tag them in it too, but you know, once again, I've never done this part. So we're just gonna hop right in, man, and see if I could be like, oh, I get that, or it's like I'm learning something. So with that being said, man, we hopping right into this, man. Easter eggs of what we missed in Squabble Up.
To close out a hectic but oddly satisfying year for hip-hop, the critically acclaimed musician Kendrick Lamar has released a new and exciting visual to accompany his highly anticipated release of a song that he had teased prior to the sudden drop of his latest album, GNX. Kendrick Lamar over the years has cultivated a prolific artistic
I know I do this shit all the time, dog, but like, in that snippet, has anybody figured out that if that had anything to do with the lead up to the video, or if that's tied into maybe the GNX album and the cover because of how he was dressed and how the background was? Has anybody pointed that out or said anything about that yet? Let me know in the comments below. I'm just trying to learn here too.
Background, garnering a plethora of creative accolades such as 17 Grammys and his Covenant Pulitzer Prize Award for his excellence in literature. So when it comes time to analyze his work and the complex approach behind his creative process, fans alike have realized that Lamar often favors hiding a multitude of innuendos in his art, allowing his audience the chance to digest his work in various layers of both sonic and visual perception. In his most recent music video for Squabble Up, which has amassed over 4 million views in a single day, Lamar follows the same artistic method by specifically tailoring his scenic presentation to be an illusion of the diaspora of African culture embedded within the seams of America. Most importantly, California, the state Lamar chooses to represent in its entirety, notably portraying the good and bad instances of his reality in an attempt to reconcile with his past trauma and help bridge the division between warring factions of the same people. Since Lamar has such...
Okay, I do like that he kind of got into that a little bit, because that's something I peeped a little bit as far as cultural things. Also, too, as far as unity goes, too, I said this, don't forget to like the video, and also don't forget to check out my full reaction to the GNX album. Even in Whacked Out Murals, like him being associated to the BITO'S, you know what I'm saying, and all that, I found it quite interesting that he did that. And when I first looked at, this has nothing to do with Squabble Up, I'm sorry. but it has to do with the GNX album, just him just decoding and culture things. But I noticed that he had the CC in there, which obviously if you have it spelled out how it's supposed to be, it would have the CK in there or whatever. And he showed, and like what CK means in that culture. So I feel like with him drawing that line and putting the unity out there with that was a big statement within itself.
An acquired taste in production, his videos offer a unique sense of entertainment, which commonly revolves around the viewer emitting some form of self-reflection during the duration of each video. To help the audience at home properly decipher between each and every Easter egg, I will explain each hidden message in its entirety, frame by frame. Please do not feel discouraged if I miss something, because there might be, well, I'm not sure, there might just be a part 2.
It's your boy Offset, and most of you know me from music, but you don't know that I love racing.
Alright, dog, I don't care about Offset shit right now.
MetaQuest is like reality. Put them on, and it's like I'm really inside of my race. MetaQuest is the way to go. Pow!
The first obvious Easter egg is the freeway exit sign that hangs promptly over Lamar's head. Iconically, this green traffic indicator refers to the 105 freeway exit sign you'd most likely travel past in order to reach several culturally revered.
Okay, so does that go into like, you don't travel past a 10 or whatever you said like that? Is that a part of Interstate 10?
Locations in California. For instance, Long Beach Boulevard is a central location Kendrick depicts on his debut album, Section 80, specifically on the song Keisha's Song, which is a little redundant, but if you heard the song, you understand what I'm talking about. There's a young boy who's also standing on top of the scaffolding, allowing viewers to quickly assume that this could be a nod to Lamar's famed Good Kid, Mad City album, as the boy is seen seemingly unsure of the proper way to safely get down, alluding to the underlying message Kendrick has passionately relayed in several songs, where he believes that he and many alike are good-hearted individuals who find themselves placed firmly in the grip of poor circumstance as they...
See, now that's an interesting take. I didn't think of that or look at that to be the case whatsoever. So I fucks with that. Once again, I don't be knowing a lot about Kendrick's background with a lot of things, so I need this. Brother like me need that.
They traverse the violent and dangerous path of the Compton lifestyle. Next to the landmark, we have Kendrick standing center stage in a rather nonchalant yet somber stance. Dressed in a blue baseball cap, sweater, and even blue shoes, this attire in its own right is alarming due to Kendrick's lineage in relation to the urban culture and street politics that often aid in dividing California as a whole. Both he and his family have strong ties to the Piru or Compton blood gang that has remained a pillar in establishing several hallmark traditions.
So I was definitely on point with his depiction on whacked out murals and just his whole thing, because this is deeper than Squabble Up, but he's breaking it down in Squabble Up. Okay, that makes sense. I was wondering, like, Dodger Blue, the blue outfit in there. I'm like, and I know he wasn't crip walking in now like us. Maybe, he definitely wasn't crip walking. That's not the crip walk, I don't think. That was just something else. But, okay. So he's basically, this is to the point that I've been trying to make the whole time. He's trying to tie up that divide out there culturally, and that's between all of them. You know what I'm saying? The Mexicans, the Bloods, the Crips, you know what I'm saying? All of that. All right, I respect that, dog. I really do.
Long civil wars shortly after the origins of the West Coast were developed. Their trademark color to represent their once clandestine organization is red, a color normally brandished on flags, shoes, and casual clothing to show their affiliation and obedience to the Piru collective. However, Kendrick is seen completely...
And I love that he's on that, because if you do know the history of Crips and Bloods, dog, it was never really about what we know what it is today. You know what I'm saying? It was really something that, and I think Crip was an acronym for something as well, too. Something that was like empowerment and something else. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. But yeah, it definitely wasn't what we have seen what gangs are today. You can thank a lot of things for that.
Draped in a distinct shade of blue, similar to the same blue his hometown team, the LA Dodgers, are famous for. One can assume Kendrick is showing admiration for not just the Dodgers and their historical win in this year's World Series, but also the opposing gangs in California that often wear blue to represent their connection to the Crips, who have notoriously feuded with Pyrus since the inception of both.
I'm pausing right here. Is that a real fucking picture? I keep seeing that pic for so long. I need to know if that's real. I need to know if that's real. And hence, I'm asking this because some things need to be accurate. And I think this is a photoshopped photo, if I'm not mistaken. But let me know in the comments below if this is really a real thing. Because I've seen this photo too many times, even before AI, but this is Photoshop times. So, and I don't know, and I'm judging here based off of homie. I don't know if homie's a little young here and he's using this photo. He might not know. But I also don't know either. This is why I'm pausing to ask the audience out there. I feel like I Googled and see that it's fake. But once again, we're here now. I still have questions about that. So, yeah.
It's also important to note that he has a song on his latest album, GNX, titled Dodger Blue. Next to him during the opening shot stands a young female performer whose choreography bears resemblance to the dance known as crumping. However, after further observation, you realize she's actually mimicking a dance style predating crumping, called clowning, ironically pioneered by the same driving force that brought us crumping, Tommy the Clown, in early 1992. Thomas made a guest cameo in Lamar's chart-topping Not Like Us music video, where he instructed a posse of young dancers in hopes of portraying the impact of the dancing phenomenon on the youth of California since the 90s.
I know it's funny, I ain't really ever seen the They Not Like Us video either. I just was playing that song out to the ground, so I never actually seen the video, I don't think. I've only seen bits and pieces of it like this.
Way to today's culture.
Let me know in the comments below if I should react to that video or not, if you made it this far, because I don't know how far y'all be making this shit like that. I just be, doing my thing.
Before moving on to the next frame, it's also important to point out the setting of this whole experience is a mirror image of a music video from 1999 from The Roots, titled The New Movement. Kendrick most likely drew favor for the iconic backdrop after lead drummer for The Roots, Questlove, voiced his opinions on the state of hip-hop after the conclusion of Kendrick's lyrical beef with fellow rapper Drake earlier this year, citing how he suddenly believed hip-hop was dead and how modern-day fans of the genre often encourage violence and animosity instead of good-natured music with more earnest beliefs. In response, it seems that Kendrick has essentially agreed with Questlove's notion for peace, but also deliberately uses the room to allude to him bringing forth a new movement of hip-hop. One that is based on good energy and the cultivation of truth, hence why he claims he is reincarnated. Because with the prospect of new music on the horizon, the ideal of changing things for a brighter future becomes more approachable.
And this goes back to the point that I like to have stated multiple times, is that there's been a renaissance in rap since Kendrick, we're just going to say it now, since Kendrick has won the rap battle. Music has been sounding different. Artists are sounding they're sounding like the Rents do. They're actually putting out good music. They're actually on some rapping shit. You know what I'm saying? They're conscious. They're putting out good music with bangers. Like, hip-hop is, like, I've been saying it for a long time on this channel, man. Don't forget to subscribe. That since this battle, man, hip-hop is definitely back. So it feels good. Wow. It feels good to hear, you know what I mean, somebody else make that statement. So
the following frame shows a conglomerate of gang-affiliated individuals circulating Kendrick as he shows how he is constantly surrounded by different gangs at one time, but prefers to have them celebrate respectfully in the same environment in hopes of maintaining peace and a sustainable community. Most specifically, to the right side of the room, you have a group of LA natives from the fellow rapper and frequent collaborator Schoolboy Q's family, known for their societal ties with the Hoover Crip gang. In times of celebration and festivity, the famed Hoover Stomp is a dance move created by the Hoover Crips to differentiate their traditions in relation to the opposing gangs. To the left side, you have three men posing with red attire on, presumably insisting that these gentlemen are from the Pyro collective of the Blood Gang, similar to Kendrick. What's most interesting is the choice to blur out the facial features of the group of men
that's
in
real.
red,
They real.
suggesting that even though both opposing gangs are known for their culture, it seems as if the Bloods have developed a more violent and criminal reputation, to the point where most members are being actively investigated by federal authorities, highlighting a vivid contrast amongst the times when a gang...
I'm gonna also hold on this too. What I always notice, and this is what I always ask people about hip hop artists who wanna be associated or affiliated with gangs, and I've always asked this because every time I've grown up, I've seen gang photos, gang affiliations, and like there's always photos kind of similar to what I froze on, or just there's always some sort of back history of like those type of things, and a lot of rappers that kind of scream out those things, they don't have those photos. I don't see those photos anywhere. Normally those photos somehow, some way come out. Now I know money can make things go away, but also it goes back to like the persona that I think a lot of artists do, and a lot of the youth gets mixed up with and believing that these people are like that, but it's like there's no real proof. Also, why I'm saying that too, it goes back to like, I still want to know whose resume or who was screaming out P, but their resume is Booth. Is that Game? Is that Lil Wayne? Because I'm now hearing this and obviously just knowing what I already know and listen to the music, how I listen to it. He's coming at somebody in that line. I think that's on Hey Now, in case you're wondering what I'm talking about. But he said, oh my God, I'm about to do the who. Niggas screaming out P, but their resume is Booth. Like they screaming out Pyru, but their resume is Booty or Butt, whatever you want to call it. Sorry.
Can incite fear and militance compared to the times they find themselves in moments of joy and relief. Lastly, the big gold watch hanging next to the gang member positioned behind Kendrick can be a quick reference to Jason Goldwatch, a Californian photographer born in San Francisco, known for his raw depiction of the urban lifestyle and hip-hop aesthetic. Hence why the adjacent actor can be seen throwing up gang signs as if he was posing for a picture. Lamar cuts to the next frame where he adorns walls.
Sorry, pause. Again, this happens on this channel, so if you're new, this is kind of what happens, and I try to pause it at a good moment. Question as well. The chandelier gotta mean something when he, you know what I'm saying? That's gotta mean something. You don't just do that for no reason. So I think you missed that, but in the comments below, let me know what that part means, because I didn't.
More subliminal imagery. Draped on either side of the scene hang what most pro-abolitionists refer to as the African American flag, which is seemingly a combination of the Pan-African flag used to show pride and camaraderie in reference to African heritage, and the traditional stars and stripes layout of the American flag, showing once again that Kendrick is acknowledging the abundance of African culture that stands as a foundation for the American institution since its birth. Riding behind Kendrick are two actors on special adult-sized tricycles. One of these bikes has a cart mounted to the rear railings. On the cart itself, there's a spray-painted insignia that reads simply, "That Go," which is a callback that is garnished in an immense amount of nostalgia. The same bike design was used in a renowned music video from the Oakland collective Chunk Boys. This time around, Kendrick is not just relating more general aspects of the Compton livelihood and African experience, but instead paying homage to an entirely different section of California, going as far to have the phrase "Hyphy" sprayed on one of the riders' shirts in order to pay respect to the contribution of North Cali hip-hop legends who stem from the Bay, Oakland, San Francisco, and Richmond area. In front of the riders, Kendrick...
I love that this guy's explaining how much of a Cali cultural reference this song is, but this is the theme of the album too. Throughout the whole course of the album, it's literally what he's explaining in this one video. So I love that he's getting to that. I don't know if he's from there or not, but shout out to the college
that freaked out. Ironically entitled "How to Be More Like Kendrick, but for Dummies." The context behind this is more intriguing than most would think, since Kendrick has publicly embraced his religious belief at the dawn of his rap career. He's often addressed his battle between good and evil, and his struggle to find a foothold in his life as a Christian. However, as of recently, albums such as Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers and the imagery portrayed behind it shows that Kendrick has came to the realization and is in full belief that we, as men of God, are made solely in the image of the Creator. And even though we might not be able to achieve the exact divinity of Jesus Christ, everyone is able to be a good person and act just like Jesus would in relation to God's teachings. So therefore, with the belief that Jesus is merely just a more covenant version of a mortal man, Kendrick asks himself the existential question of how does one become like Jesus essentially, alluding to the fact that throughout his career, Lamar has solely tried his best to be as charitable and inspirational as possible, and therefore acknowledges that his actions and humility have made him akin to the prophet. Kendrick switches frames to the next scene where we are met with what seems to be an eccentric character of some sorts inspired by the Spike Lee movie Do the Right Thing, where one of the movie's protagonists, Radio Raheem, brandishes a four-finger
See, what's crazy is that
gold
you would
ring.
have to zoom in to see that. I was thinking fucking Shock G, and I had to Google where he was from, and I'm like, all right, it's definitely not Shock G, because the outfit is somebody. The rings may be something, but that outfit's somebody too, though, if I'm not mistaken.
It says love on one hand and hate on the other. However, in this revival of the acclaimed role, Lamar gives the actor a ring that says hood instead of hate. This is a deep comparison that is often discussed throughout the self-reflective catalog of music that Lamar has created, where he describes the stigma of coming from an environment easily susceptible to hatred and violence, and how he hopes that sharing love unconditionally can put a stop to generations of unnecessary murder and help to encourage the reformation of the so-called hood. Standing by this gentleman is an unclad young female with a pump-action sawed-off shotgun. At first glance, one would be quick to assume that her appearance holds no significance. However, leave it to Kendrick and his directing team to think outside the box, because this lady standing in this sort of frozen posture is eerily similar to Ice-T's notorious 1988 album cover for Power, where he famously had an album cover with two different shots of him and then girlfriend Darlene Ortiz, and I believe DJ Evil E as well, leaving many fans to suggest that Kendrick might be dropping a second album or project shortly after his most recent unexpected release, since many have noticed that this version of Squabble Up and the version on his tape have entirely different hooks, and since the song that was originally shown in the trailer for GNX was also not placed on his latest album, fans have theorized that Lamar has bigger plans for the future and is using this album as the rollout for his next.
Wait, what? I gotta play that back. I feel like I just got like lyrical gymnastic to death on that one. But I thought the snippet in that song was what we heard in Squabble Up. It was the only thing that he just said was reincarnated. I was stargazing. But I feel like he said that in a song, right? Let me play that back. Let me see if I heard him correctly.
Was originally shown in the trailer for GNX was also not placed on his latest album. Fans have theorized that Lamar has bigger plans for the future and is using this album as the rollout for his next definitive tape. The dancer next to him in this scene is the same female dancer from the Not Like Us video. During the song's performance, she is seen dancing to a new age style of choreography that physically mimics the fighting stance that Kendrick refers to with the phrase squabble up, showing Lamar's continuous efforts of showcasing various unknown talent from his city and placing them on a pedestal. Next to her, there is an ongoing skit where a man gets knocked out by a female after trying to fight her boyfriend. This represents the strong and supportive females that often make up the backbone of most households and relationships in urban environments. The scene then cuts to two people standing in front of a chalkboard with scrambled letters. This is a throwback to the infamous Soul Train television show that was historically filmed in California for approximately 23 years. Later in the scene, the pair begin to spell a Latin phrase that roughly translates to everything.
Alright, so this goes back to what they said. Somebody's gonna try to spell it. Everything is something. Alright, there we go. That's the message in that Scrabble board, because I was like, I ain't about to figure that shit out. And shit, truthfully, a lot of this shit I wasn't catching, dog. That's why we here watching this shit, man. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, man. Only thing I think I caught out of it, to keep it a buck, was probably the Menace to Society shit. When he had the bike riding into the wall, like as if when he first rode the bike into Kane's leg. That's like, excuse me, that's probably the only thing I got out of that video. I'm gonna keep it a buck, because once again, a lot of this shit is like you have to go digging for real, or you just gotta be from like the West Coast and all that. And like once again, I think a lot of my stuff is just off of memory and just a nostalgic feel and just growing up in these things. So that's where I get it from. I don't have to necessarily do the digging, but if I don't know, I just won't know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. And the fact that it said Soul Train, I'm like, I didn't grow up on Soul Train, and I knew I watched Soul Train every now and then, but I didn't watch it to remember that. I know that much. Like, I'm a little bit younger, but like right in that middle range where people would know that off the jump. So
something, a beautiful artistic foretelling that every second of this video, as well as every verse in Kendrick's song, is meant to be interpreted logistically, as there might be multiple defining reasons for its appearance or mention.
A lot of meanings, huh?
The frame then pans over to a group of young women in front of a retro.
It's funny. I was funny about that one because I'm like, I was just trying to be funny. Let me try to find the Easter eggs, but I'm like, I don't know nothing about what's going on in this video. I said that those were Drake's baby mamas, but he's probably about to get into something more detailed and more relatable to the context of this video.
Backdrop, similar to the ones used throughout the 90s and Y2K culture. Zooming out entirely, you can now see Kendrick holding a controversial sign that reads "Jesus Saves Gangsters Too," which is a significant reference to the gangster ministry founded in Crenshaw, California in 1972.
Okay.
This secular organization aims to provide a new life for former gang members and those who find themselves with guidance and encouragement in the midst of gang.
Once again, a lot of California references. Like couldn't peep that in the video, but I peeped that listening to the music. So I'm just different where I heard it in the music versus seeing it in this video, because I just don't know a lot of that stuff like that. Gotta be from there. I want to do the research. I didn't do it.
The abandonment of it. Even the colors of the text that adorn the sign are relative to the abundant prevalence of Crips and Bloods in California. Next up, we have a group of Hispanic dancers congregating together, highlighting Kendrick's admiration for the tight-knit sense of community that Latin Americans display in California. The dancer in the front is also essentially popping and locking, a technique in breakdancing popularized by quote-unquote black culture. Lamar shows that despite our background, we are all ethnic people with similar indigenous origins, and oftentimes we share tradition, dance moves, and culture in general amongst the constantly growing diaspora of African descendant.
And I don't know if he's gonna get there, but I try to pause at a good moment. I also think that representation is also another side of the gang culture that people don't speak on as much. I feel like when it comes to the California gang culture, when you hear about California gang culture, you only hear Bloods and Crips. But if you hear OGs talk about it, and like, when I say the OGs, like, it's more or less like, that Cube and Cypress Hill generation, you would hear the conversation of how the Mexicans, or the Latinos, I should say, run LA. So that's, I think, the only part that he may have missed in there. If I pause him in the middle, but I don't think he's going to get to it, but we'll see.
Here in America and across the world. Following up this frame, Lamar is seen kneeling at the foot of a traditional Catholic candlelight vigil,
which is, as
he pays his respect to the
that's something that that's not California necessarily. I think all hoods do that, you know what I'm saying, wherever somebody got laid down at, we usually, put a little visual or a little thing in the area and stuff like that. Now, I took that as a double, though. I took that as because I think he said in this line here too, he was like, bitch hit him with a bitch hit him, that's a lot of bitch don't hit him, he got kids with him, or some shit like that, my apologies or whatever. So I was thinking that was more of a sub-ish thing towards Drake, also with my mind playing off of, this is the sample off of Not Like Us, in a piggyback song off of that, which also makes me feel like this was a not a throwaway, but I call it the how many do I really got in stock now, 1 2 3 4 5 plus 5. I personally think that all of these, or half of these songs off of GNX, was the throwaway songs, or the stock songs, I should say, based off of just how they sounded and what they sounded like they were targeting, and just the subject of what he was talking about. But then obviously it was modified to be more current and up to date and just fill in what we're talking about right now. But that's me reaching as well too.
He's Latino individual. He shows once again that despite differences in languages or common religion, we all share the same emotions, especially in times of grief.
I think that was a double.
In the corner behind Kendrick and the Catholic vigil,
the only one I got,
a small boy on a tricycle facing the wall, away from the camera. Everything from the outfit to the tricycle he's riding on is a reference to the cult classic film Menace to Society. The young boy acts as a metaphor showing how the innocence of a child can be preserved and at the same time corrupted by the violent nature of his surroundings. Noticeably, we see that the kid is faced away from the camera, and because of that, he cannot see Kendrick mourn over someone who has died, once again depicting the sullen contrast between a good kid and a mad city.
Alright, I think that's the only part I'm gonna disagree with, just because I actually seen the movie. And it's funny, if you like the video, like, comment as well too. I actually did a post regarding this one, and it's funny, somebody went off on me about my whatever you call it, short reel, whatever. It was like, I don't have two eyes, like, I can't fucking see all three things. But to me, I feel like that is a depiction, and he's not wrong off what he said, but I'm just gonna go off for me. For me, that was more of a depiction strictly from the movie Menace to Society, and how there was multiple instances of that boy in that scene. The first instance is when he ran up on Kane's leg and crashed into him. So that's why I think he was crashing into the wall. But then when the scene kind of goes on, it shows him just kind of trotting along doing his thing while his back is turned, when he doesn't see, I think, the people coming to go click, clack, bow, bow on Kane. And that's when Kane went to go run and save him and shit like that. So I think you just got to see the movie for that one. But he's not wrong at what he's saying. He's not wrong at all.
Center frame of the scene is a gigantic revolving Nate Dogg CD.
Oh,
Theories of a second album really began to stir as people have realized that this specific Nate Dogg album is a two-part special that at the time was a rare artistic approach to hip-hop.
See, once again, I was wondering, like, I didn't know a lot of this shit in here, so when I seen that, I was like, what the fuck is there a CD just spinning in the middle of this shit for? I thought it was just to, play the record or let the record spin or something. I didn't think it was along that line, so all right, word. Go ahead, College.
The opportunity to honor the late rapper and California legend Nate Dogg, whilst also teasing the idea of an upcoming B-side.
Oh, it's definitely a B-side then. It's definitely a B-side.
The music video then cuts to its second to last frame, where the most prominent figure is a little boy sitting in the corner of the screen whilst operating the hydraulics on a classic lowrider, once again showing how the innocent often idolize the glitz and glamour of a lifestyle normally riddled with danger and lustful afflictions, and how they often treat their lives and things in them as a game. The three dancers behind Kendrick are all dressed in similar attire, representing the clothing trends of Compton, California, and they all sport the same white tee and blue ribbon.
That ain't had nothing to do with Whitney? Was it Whitney?
In the last frame of the video, we see Lamar standing next to a figure dressed in archaic biblical clothing. This character is supposed to be none other than the Black Moses from the Black Moses album cover, released by Isaac Hayes in 1971.
Wow.
Uncoincidentally, the Black Moses album was also a special double album where Hayes released multiple bodies of work at the same time.
Hey man, Kenny coming with a double. This breakdown right here just lets me know that Kenny coming with a double, dog. Because there's too many ties in with these doubles and yeah. He's coming with another one. He's definitely coming with another one.
Which completely shocked his audience.
Okay.
Some could say that this approach is reminiscent of Lamar's artistic process, where it seems that he might be sitting on more music than expected. Next to the Black Moses sits a small picture of Black Jesus with a $40 price tag on it. I believe this is another one of Kendrick's many takes on religion, where he has realized that the true figureheads of the Bible all came from the same ethnic background as him, and even though the truth is readily available, it's only up for consumption once you get past a sort of predetermined paywall. However, pictures of a Caucasian Jesus are often in abundance with no admissible fees, normally scattered throughout churches as propaganda, or at least to heavily
That's a whole different conversation,
influence the masses.
I'll let that one
believe
ride.
that the Caucasian initiative and the Caucasian reflection of the Bible is the only predestined way to live a super divine life.
Not that I disagree with
Above Lamar's head is a banner showcasing
Compton.
the Compton Christmas Parade. Many are left to speculate if this means that there
Dropping
might
Christmas.
be more music by Christmas, or if he has set his sights on being the marshal of the parade once again, just like he did previously in 2015.
I think that sounds like it's made.
And lastly, Lamar ends the music video with him dancing next to a statue of a Black Panther. This statue refers to him and his avid activism, his revolutionary mindset, and his fight against the injustice of African descendants around the world. Also, the statue serves as a double entendre, as the same Black Panther statue was often found in a plethora of quote-unquote African American households in 90s America, becoming a staple for most African descendant families to decorate their living spaces with ornaments and centerpieces that remind them of their sub-Saharan lineage. Thank you guys for sticking with me, bearing with all the technical typos.
Man, you did a great job, college free thinking or whatever this channel's called. You did a great job, bro.
My first shot at really diving deep into a subject that I actually really care about, or at least I find fascinating. If you guys really like my approach to this, or find time for another video, definitely check out what I have on my channel or the links in my bio. And if you guys would like to see more, obviously hit the like button and subscribe if you can. Thank you so much.
We're gonna do both, brother.
Blessed day.
We're gonna do both for that. I like that. Click and sub. Look at that. Y'all see me doing shit in real time. Listen, I support all sorts of reactions of any and everybody, and I hope that homie is okay with me using this, especially if I shout him and tag him. If it don't work out and he's like, get the fuck off my shit, I'm sorry, dude. I just wanted to learn something today, and I wanted to react to it because I like learning some shit too. But shout out to the College of Free Thinking for that breakdown. I don't disagree with anything that he broke down so far. Only thing that I did not question, but the only thing that I would second on is the Menace to Society references there. But otherwise, like, I personally think spot on, or it's just something that I've learned. And like, even open my eyes, I'm like, damn, he did that. Because I'm like, I know all of this stuff, especially not the Nate Dogg double disc, but the Isaac Hayes. I knew that, but I didn't peep it. A lot of just certain California references that he had in there that wasn't like too like, oh, I gotta be living in California to understand or do my research. I was catching those too. So like, it was awesome. I'm like, damn, like, that's, listen, now I kind of see why people be like, Kendrick don't really be doing up. Nah, he kind of really do be doing all the stuff that people be trying to reach and say that he doesn't. Not all of it, but I think he's such a critical thinker and he's so advanced in the way that he does what he does. It's very possible, man. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe. Definitely go check that video out if you're curious to know like what that video was about, because that's why I did it. I was like, let me go see what this was on, because I'm like, I know there was stuff in there I'm missing. I think I even said it in my reaction to Squabble Up. So yeah, that video is dope as hell. Shout out to the College of Free Thinking once again. They taught me something about California culture a little bit more, because as much as I'd be like, I know this, that, and third, I don't know everything, but I know certain things, especially when it comes to that gang culture talk and everything. I feel like I'm a little bit versed in that based off of just conversations, just me doing the research that I did back in the day, which was just watching a lot of DVDs, you know what I'm saying, off of, you know, the players that talk about the issue, reading the magazines and just being in it like that. So all of my stuff comes off of just straight memory, whether it's off by time or not as accurate as some would like. It's still in the ballpark, just because, you know, been on this earth for a long time, a lot be happening and shit. So, you know, and I'm still just freestyling this shit. But yeah, man, I'm just gonna stand on that, man, or leave on that note. I really am glad that I watched those Easter eggs. Let me know if there's anything that he's incorrect on, inaccurate, or anything that he missed, because I still want to know all the bits and details about this video a little bit. While I'm gonna probably, well, I don't really got time to be looking at it myself sometimes, man, because I be just trying to do a whole bunch of other stuff and keep up with the content. So the research on that probably won't be as thick. But Kenny's definitely coming with another album, man. Don't forget to like the button, like the video, comment, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.